program and one special program only. Welcome to The Stadium. Yes, your quantitative sports show that covers everything under the sun that is related to sports, whether it be football, whether it be basketball, whether it be American football, whether it be rugby, ludo, tennis, anything that you can think of that is sports. That's what we do right here on this hour. And I'm going to be your captain on this ride. My name is Bucci. Of course, my attacking forward, the prolific one himself, Mr. Ted, is out right now. He's actually taking a bike from Manchester United down here to give us a full report. We're waiting for Ted. Ted is on the way. But like you know, there's fuel scarcity now, so make could I no blame him too much now. And you know, say from England to here, he did far. Well, this is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and there's a lot to talk about today. It's been a derby weekend in the EPL. A lot of matches being played yesterday, a few today. Some lackluster results, some shocking results. What match? In fact, what was your results? What was your prediction? Did your predictions come true today? Were you satisfied with what the games you watched today? Southampton and Arsenal played today. Liverpool and Everton played today. And in fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are glued to their TV sets right now or in their viewing centers trying to catch the match of the weekend. Manchester United playing Man City. Number 2 playing number 1 to see whether Manchester United can actually try and cut that deficit, because Manchester City is leading, of course, with 8 points. Try to see if they can cut it down to at least 5, or whether Man City will just keep on their winning streak, win Manchester United, and keep going. What are your predictions for the match right now? It's about 35 minutes into the game. The goal is still 0-0. Call in, give me your predictions. What do you think? Do you think Manchester United has what it takes to cage City right now? This is the battle for supremacy. This is also a battle for bragging rights. This is a derby, and this is the battle for Manchester. Who will be the king of Manchester right now? Call in. The number is still 081 89 99 1011. I'll take it again. 081 89 99 1011. Today we're going to focus mostly on football, because there's a lot of things happening in the world of football all around the world. But I want to give you one very interesting story, something that actually happened today in the Bundesliga. Yes, right, in merry old Germany. Something came up. But before I do that, let me take this first call. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Line in mode.
Looks like we lost that call. Please still call back. The lines are still open to you. The number is still 081 89 99 1011. Yes, the Bundesliga. Cologne, which happens to be the bottom of the club right now, bottom of the league, of the Bundesliga right now, the club Cologne, they have been winless in as many games as the league has gone through right now. They've been winless all through, and something fantastic happened. I don't know whether to call it fantastic in the opposite sense, but something fantastic happened today. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Malaikum salam. Welcome to the stadium. Oh, that sounded like an Arsenal fan, probably disgruntled from their match today. But do call in, share your thoughts. Let's call in, let's find out. Give me your predictions for the matches that you saw today, and also for the weekend. Was your footballing weekend, was your derby weekend satisfied for you? Because I know a lot of things happened there. But like I said, winless Cologne in the Bundesliga is at the bottom of the table. In fact, they're the Crystal Palace of the Bundesliga right now, in the sense that, but right now Crystal Palace is better. At least they've drawn a few games and actually won a match. I remember one very fantastic match they played against Chelsea and they won. Cologne right now are winless, and can you imagine, this was the match, this was the time they were going up against fellow bottom leaguers Freiburg, and in fact they had a chance. They had a 3-goal lead. Just put this into context. A 3-goal lead. This was the time, this was the energy, this was the time that they were going to actually perform and do something. But from a 3-goal lead, they lost it. They lost the game 4-3. Winless Cologne squandered 3-goal lead to lose 4-3. Bottom of the table, Cologne's dismal performance this season took another twist on Sunday, as in today, when they blew a 3-goal lead and lost 4-3 to at home of all places, to fellow strugglers Freiburg and remain winless in the Bundesliga. The year is rounding up and this team has not even won one match. At least Crystal Palace has won a few matches, but this team hasn't won any. Now, it all started when Niels Peterson scored 2 penalties at the final minutes to complete a hat-trick and win the match for the visitors. Now, the crazy thing about this match is Cologne were actually leading. They were actually leading about 3 goals up. I think it was about 3-0. So Cologne in their first league game and this is under their new caretaker, Stefan Rosenbach, after they sacked their previous coach, Peter Storgrer. I apologize, I'm not German, but I'll try and get the names as best as I can. Peter Storgrer, who was fired last week, and in fact they raced to a 3-0 lead in less than half an hour. But then, like, these things happen from bad to worse to what's next. By the time the visitors, the other team, came into the game, they first scored. They first scored when about 5 minutes into the second half, and then with the tension mounting, another goal came in the 65th minute, and then a penalty at the 89th minute, and then in extra time another penalty, and so ending their dreams or their hopes of actually winning their first match this season and going winless. So they squandered a 3-goal lead to lose 4-3. But curious enough, from this story, this actually links to another story, something that's actually trending and happening right now. I talked to you about the former coach who was sacked a week ago. That's Peter Storgrer. He was sacked from his job, and the caretaker, who is Stefan Rosenbach, has taken over for Cologne. Curious enough, Peter Storgrer has already gotten a new job. You're wondering what new job that is? In fact, let's put this into context, into perspective. This is a man who has not won one game with Cologne and was sacked for it, and now 1 week later he's gotten a job, and lo and behold, he gets a job with Borussia Dortmund. Yes, you heard it correctly. Borussia Dortmund, one of the top flights in the Bundesliga. He got the job there. In fact, the Borussia Dortmund, curiously enough, sacked their old coach. That's Bose. The person of Bose, he was sacked today. Borussia Dortmund have sacked Peter Bose as a head coach after the club failed to win any games in any of the Bundesliga games in the last 8 matches. They have not won a Bundesliga game in the last 8 matches. So Peter Bose was sacked, and it was announced via their Twitter account. If you go to Borussia Dortmund's Twitter account, you see it there. Bose, and also curious enough, Bose, who was actually employed from Ajax last season, that's the 2017 season, he actually led Ajax to the 2017 UEFA Europa League final, where they lost to Manchester United. If you remember that final, it was something spectacular. But then he was brought in to spruce up this club, and now things didn't go well, and now he has joined, or he is now part of the managerial casualties of this season. All over, we've been seeing a lot of sacking, a lot of things going back and forth, not just in the EPL, in the Bundesliga, in La Liga, all over the place. Now, Peter Bose has lost his job, and he's been replaced by Peter Storgrer, the former coach who was sacked just a week ago from Cologne. Now, in this kind of situation, what do you think? Don't you think it's a situation of bad to worse to what's next? I mean, it's sort of, for me, it just seems like a jinx. Because right now, Borussia Dortmund's about, I think they're about 5th or 7th on the About 5th. I think they're about 5th on the Bundesliga right now. They're not doing so badly, although they haven't won their last 8 games. But this is a team that has, that fighting spirit and has a way of bouncing back from defeats, and bouncing back and putting pressure on the top flight in the Bundesliga. Now they sacked their coach, their present coach, and have gone and hired the man who was heading up Cologne, which has not won a game since the beginning of this league, has not won one game. Do you think that's actually a wise buy? I mean, when you have people like Carlo Ancelotti out there, you have the likes of there are so many other coaches. I think there are so many other coaches who could do a much better job, who could step in and carry up a team as prestigious as Borussia Dortmund and actually revamp them and put that fire in their step. But then let's look at it from another side. Let's look at it from the other context. Maybe this is what they need, because right now, okay, like the Borussia Dortmund chief officer on the Twitter page said Peter Bosz has been relieved of his duty as Borussia Dortmund's head coach. We had dinner with him last night and a pleasant conversation, and agreed that it was time for him to leave. Peter Sturridge will take over immediately. Let Peter Sturridge work a little, get to know the team. Our aim is to win a few points until Christmas. Then we'll talk about targets. We're expecting this to go on until about June 30th, but nothing is set in stone. So, Peter Sturridge, who is the former coach of Cologne, now steps in as the new coach, or the temporary coach or substantive coach, for the sacked Peter Bosz. But what do you think? Do you think Borussia Dortmund is making some kind of mistake, especially with this kind of signing, especially with this kind of coach coming in? This is a coach that is who is coming from the bottom club, a club that has not scored or has not won one match. In fact, funny enough, they just lost, like we reported earlier. They just lost a 3-goal lead, and they still remain winless in the Bundesliga. Do you think Borussia Dortmund is making the right step and stepping in the right direction? You can call in and share your thoughts. This is still Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get back into the action. This is still Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM, and this is the Stadium. Don't go anywhere. If you can hear my voice right now, you are on to the stadium. Yes, the stadium, your quantitative sports show that covers everything from sports, in the world of sports and around sports, whether it be judo, taekwondo, whether it be MMA, whether it be boxing, whether it's football, whether it's rugby, whether it's ludo, whether it's chess. That's what we do here on the stadium. My name is Bucci, and of course my striking and attacking partner Ted is unavailable at the moment. In fact, the bike that he was taking from Manchester United, actually from Manchester City, actually broke down. I think they have a flat tire, but I think they're working on it. The Okada man was going to change the tire, and Ted will be here shortly to give us more reports from what's going on right there in Manchester United. Yes, it's halftime, and it looks like Manchester United and Man City are both ahead with a goal apiece. It's still level playing field. Silva scored in the 43rd minute, and Rashford actually scored and equalized in the 45th, in fact for the 7th minute, which is the extra time of the first half. They're still on halftime break. They'll be back and the action continues. Yes, this is still the stadium, and we've been talking about Borussia Dortmund. We're talking about Borussia Dortmund sacking their old coach Peter Bosz, and hiring actually replacing him with the just relieved coach from Cologne. That's Mr. Peter Sturridge or Storger. These German names are hard to pronounce. Novex. But yes, replacing the old coach with this one now, the one who just was fired from Cologne for not actually winning a match, and their hope is to get a few points before Christmas and hash things out until they can find a substantial replacement. What do you think? Do you think this is a good idea? You can call in and share your thoughts on anything that's going on, whether it be it in the EPL, whether in La Liga, Bundesliga, or any sports at all that you want to call in and share for. What are your thoughts? What do you think about the matches that are played? In fact, it's been a cracker weekend. In fact, what do you think? Call in. The number to call is still 081 8999 1011. I'll take it again. 081 8999 1011. Yes, we had a match earlier in the day, Southampton versus Arsenal, and in fact Arsenal had to come from behind. This was Southampton were able to score in the 3rd minute of the match, but Arsenal were able to come back from behind with their super striker right now in the person of Giroud. Giroud came in the second half and gave a blasting header. In fact, a blasting header. Southampton were actually able to score in the 3rd minute, and the game sort of mirrored what happened with Chelsea yesterday. Chelsea actually losing out yesterday to West Ham United, giving David Moyes his first win for the club, and also keeping because apparently Conte actually was looking towards getting those 3 points and putting more pressure towards his title race, but unfortunately he could not. Chelsea will still remain 3rd in the group, will still remain 3rd in the table with 32 points. I think yes, with 32 points they're still going to remain 3rd there. But the same thing sort of almost mirrored itself against Arsenal today. Southampton actually scored Arsenal in the 3rd minute of the game, and it was only by hook and crook and by the luck and the skill of the phenomenal Giroud that actually helped the team recover and get that one goal back. And now many pundits are actually saying that Giroud is probably Arsenal's most valuable player. It used to be Alexis Sanchez, but Sanchez just hasn't been able to find his form since his injury and returning back. But Giroud coming in, superb header, saving the day. What do you think? Do you think Giroud? In fact, he actually scored in the 88th minute. So you can imagine how long Southampton were actually licking their teeth and gleaming and looking towards savoring those 3 points. Unfortunately, Arsenal put a kibosh on those plans in the person of Giroud. Arsene Wenger actually came out to say that his side slow start in the game is becoming a problem, and this was after the scrappy draw. In fact, I called it a scrappy draw because essentially that's what it was. After the scrappy draw against Southampton, of course, like we said, Olivier Giroud balanced it with a superb header in the 88th minute. In the last 2 weeks, according to according to Arsene Wenger, and I quote, "I felt the Manchester United game played a bit of a part our head-to-head, played a bit of a part in the head of our defenders." That's his thoughts on the game. In the last 2 weeks, unfortunately, we are losing points after a bad start, said Wenger, who saw his side concede twice in the first 11 minutes of the 3-1 defeat by Manchester United. That was 8 days ago. Yes. According to him, he further goes on and says they were a bit apprehensive to start well again, and that's why it's sometimes not good to talk about the problems, because you create a bigger problem. What do you think? Do you think Arsenal have not been able to recover from that last beating that they got from Manchester United? I remember that match very well. In fact, we even gave Arsenal an obituary, a mock obituary here on the stadium. But it was a win. A win is a win, and although it's a draw, not a win is essentially, but it's a draw, and you still take the 1 point apiece, and you don't fall back too much. Arsenal now are looking about 5th on the table with 29 points after today's game, and Southampton remain on 11 points with 18 points. Kudos to Giroud. Other matches that were played today, also draws. Liverpool actually drew with Everton today. That was also another very interesting match, with Salah being the top goal scorer in the league right now, actually putting one behind the net before Everton replied with a Rooney penalty to save the day. Yes, it sounds like a joke, but it's not. Rooney actually finding the back of the net. It's been a long time, but in form of a penalty, in form of a silly penalty, because it was the defender. If you watch the match, the defender really didn't need to step in and push the player, but he did, and Rooney gets the penalty. And Everton also live to fight another day. Sam Allardyce actually on the field, actually stepping forward. This is his first game. His first official game after being made the new Everton head coach, and coming off with a draw like that, it also gives Everton something to go home with and something to smile home. Something to smile about. I mean, it's not a loss, it's not a win, but a draw is still a draw, and 1 point is still 1 point. As Everton try to claw their way back into the league, which they have, they're actually 10th now with 19 points, and Liverpool have actually moved up to 4th position, just behind Chelsea with 30 points. So right now, currently, if things hold on the way they're going, Man City is still on top. Manchester United follows. Chelsea 32 points after their loss with the Hammers. Liverpool 30 points. Arsenal 29 on 5th. Tottenham 6th with 28 points. Burnley on 7th with 28 points. Leicester City have gone up to 8th with 23 points. Watford are 9th with 22 points, and Everton, as we reported, are 10th with 19 points. Now, at the other end of the table, at the other spectrum of the table, we see Crystal Palace has gone back. I won't say it's their usual position, but after blitz performance from them, they've actually gone back to the bottom of the table with 11 points. Swansea are actually second from the bottom with 12 points, and West Ham United at the bottom with 18, but that's 18th on the table with 13 points. Now, the difference between West Brom, who are 17 and just safe from relegation zone, between them and West Ham, it's still 13 points, but there's a difference of there's a goal difference between them, which is still keeping them afloat. Newcastle are also draining down there, 16. They're 16th on the table with 15 points. Stoke City is down there 15th with 16 points. And in fact, Bournemouth are 14th on the table with 16 points. There's a lot of just 1 point behind. There's a lot of I think it's very tight down there, and it can go either way, and it just all depends on one team having one bad game and another team having a really good game that can actually distinguish this. So what do you think? What do you think of these weekend's matches? Were they as you expected? Were they up to par? Did they give you the excitement and joy that you derive from watching these games? Call in and share. This is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and this is the stadium. Yes, we are following the Manchester United match very closely. Still 1-1, still on halftime. I think the players are actually getting ready to get back into the game, and so are we. We're just going to take a minor break. When we come back, we'll talk about other sports and other happenings around the world. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. And if you're just hearing my voice for the first time, then you know you're somewhere and you're on to somewhere special. Welcome to the stadium. This is still the stadium, a special 101.1 million capacity stadium that can encompass everybody. You can come in, you can play any sport you want, and that's what we do here. We cover every sport right here, right now. My name is Bucci. It looks like my super striker, my co-presenter, Mr. Ted, has actually gotten the bike man to get his tire patched and is still on his way here, all the way from Manchester down here to the stadium to give us a full report on details of the match that's going on right now. Second half has actually kicked off. Goal line still remains one piece for Manchester United and Man City. Yes, we're going to jump into another interesting sport, a sport played by kings, a sport for gentlemen, but it seems like there's still some unsportsmanlike conduct that is being reported in sport of kings, the sport of gentlemen. And what sport is that? I'm talking about cricket. Yes, cricket. It seems like the Ashes are going on right now. The Ashes is a tour between England and a 2-day tour between England and Australia right now, and it seems like there's some unsportsmanlike conduct going on within the ranks of the English team. And Ben Duckett has been suspended for playing for the England Lions tour. England Lions batsman Ben Duckett has been suspended for playing on the tour of Australia after pouring a drink over fellow teammates James Anderson in a bar in Perth. Now, Duckett, who's 23 years old, has been fined and issued with a final written warning over his conduct as an English player. The Lions, that's the English Lions, will play a 2020 match against Perth Scorchers, and Duckett will remain with the squad. He's still on the squad, but he's been suspended from actually participating in playing. You see, he was dropped from England from a 2-day game against Cricket's Australian 9 in Perth. That's Perth in Australia over the weekend. And right now, the left-hander, he's a left-handed batter. He himself he's played 4 test runs. He's played 4 tests and will play at Richardson Park after the Ashes is done. He'll still play again, but for now he's been suspended. Now, on Thursday, this incident actually happened on Thursday. Duckett was at a bar in Perth, Australia, with members of the English Lion team and senior squad members who were not under curfew. Do note that Duckett himself, that's Duckett, who's 23 years old, was actually under curfew, but he circumvented the parameters of said curfew, went out with a few senior squad members, and then he went, I don't know what kind of altercation happened between himself and James Anderson, who is actually one of England's most prolific test run players. So he's one of England's best cricketers. He's 35 years old, and he has played in over 131 tests in England, and is one of England's all-time leading test wicket takers. And according to reports, James Anderson did nothing wrong, but whatever altercation led through, Duckett himself decided to pour his drink all over his senior teammate, his senior colleague. Now, the English coach, Trevor Ballis, has described the incident as trivial, but he's as concerning. He's still furious over the incident itself, and also other off-field misconducts that have seemed to be plaguing the English team as of late. If you remember, a few months ago, I think it was in September, all-rounder Ben Stokes was arrested following an altercation outside a Bristol nightclub, and is still waiting verdict from the case. From the Crown Prosecution Service, and a decision of what the charge will be, what his charge will be. And also, don't forget, we also reported this a while ago, the beginning of the Ashes tour, wicketkeeper Johnny Brainstow was accused of headbutting an Australian player, that's Australian batsman Cameron Bancroft. Although both incidents Um, Although both incidents, the two incidents have happened, and even with this headbutting, although the two, that's both Bancroft and Johnny Botswan, that's the British and the Australian players, have described the incident as not, it was without malice, but England itself is not looking kindly or was frowning seriously on the actions of its teammates. I mean, this is just unsportsmanlike conduct that keeps occurring or rearing its ugly head within this English team. And what do you think? Do you think this is? Do you think this is real? I mean, this is the sport of gentlemen, and it's very hard. You know, these are men. Cricketers usually wear their all whites. They look like they play in all white. They look like royalty sometimes. And this is, like you said, this is a game of a prestigious game for kings, for the upper class, the upper echelons, and then you have this kind of misconduct and this kind of misbehavior going on and off, well, off the pitch mostly, but not on, but off the pitch, totally unsportsmanlike. And I think this goes beyond retribution. This goes beyond repercussions. You have to instill some sort of discipline as a player on and off the pitch, and especially when you're representing your country in another man's land. They say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But this kind of unsportsmanlike conduct is something that really needs to be checked. Following the investigations led by, of course, the coach, Duckett is not being sent home, but he has been fined, like we said, and he won't play in the other matches. And I think there's a penalty, probably a penalty he'll pay, maybe about £1,000 or £1,500, something like that, based on given rules, based on international cricket rules. He'll pay a fine, but of course he's been banned. Yes, this is still Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM. And going back to sports, I want to report on something that happened within the week. And it's something I reported a while ago. One of our own living legends himself, the big boss, well, not the big boss, I won't call him the big boss, but Sunday Oliseh, former Nigerian international and former coach of the Super Eagles, is doing something very, very interesting in Dutch Second League. Within the week, Sunday Oliseh, he led his team, the team that he's coaching right now, which is Fortuna Sittard, to a fourth successive victory in style. Yes, this is a man who actually took up the job. He requested this job. He wanted this job to coach this team. Of course, he's married to a Belgian woman, and the club is about 45 minutes away from his home. And he took up the job. This is a challenge he took on for himself. Now, this is a team that has gone bankrupt about 3 times. They're at the bottom of the second division Dutch league, but somehow he has found a way to electrify this team and galvanize this team towards victory. Now, this team, that's the Fortuna Sittard, they've continued to show some kind of impressive run in this Dutch second league or second division, and they're getting close to lead leaguers. That's Nijmegen. I think that's the best way I can pronounce it. These are Dutch names. I apologize. Now, Sunday Oliseh guided Fortuna Sittard to a fourth successive win in style after they secured an emphatic 6-0 victory over RKC Waalwijk on Friday. This will happen on Friday. The triumph against this team has changed and helped the fortunes of Fortuna Sittard. In fact, has even brought them up in this thing and registered their 11th win of the season so far. Now, second half goals were of course the order of the day. About 4 goals scored in the second half, which actually propelled this team forward towards this victory. As we reported, they're placed second in the second division. Let me put it that way. They're placed second in the second division, and they actually, if they keep up with this kind of form, they could actually make it into the first league. They could actually qualify, get out of and qualify and play into first division Dutch football. But kudos to Sunday Oliseh. This is something we do here on the stadium. We like to give credit where credit is due, especially when it comes to our own homegrown especially one as prolific as the boss himself, Mr. Sunday Olise. Um, Thank God. I mean, kudos to him. We had goals in extra time, had goals in the second half, and this it also portrays a good image in Europe, especially for Nigerian, not just Nigerian players, but also coaches. So I think it's always good to report these kind of things to show and put light on the talent that we have here, not just on the pitch, also off the pitch. Also, we have tacticians and we have technicians. So kudos to Mr. Sunday Elise on his good job and what's happening right there. Yes, the of course, the Manchester United and Man City match is still going on, and we've just gotten a goal from Manchester City. The scoreline now sits at 2-1 in favor of Manchester City. Yes, that is still going on, and that, in fact, if you put money down, we have a few people who actually called in to predict the match in favor of Manchester United, and like we said here on the stadium, we're going to actually hold them to account. So do you think Manchester United still has what it takes? About 59 minutes in, the scoreline is 2-1. Do you think they have what it takes to pull it back and maybe actually walk away with the victory, or is Man City just too powerful for them right now? Yes, this is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I'm going to take a small break, just a small short break. When I come back, we're going to get back into the action, and we'll see whether our super reporter himself, Mr. Ted, is back to give us his own analysis on what's going on the matches of the day. The number still to call is still 081 8999 1011. When we come back, we're going to dive into other leagues and other matches that are going on across Europe. We touch on the Serie A, we'll touch on the La Liga. We'll even go to France, the Ligue 1, to find out what's going on. This is what we do here on the stadium, keeping you up to date and up to breast with all the happenings in the world of sports. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
and we have had the best and the most amazing chess players in Nigeria competing with the Russians. Vladimir Putin would like to adopt some of our brothers and sisters to become citizens of Russia to be in our chess group.
If you can hear the sound of that man's voice right now, you know he's one person and one person only. The main man himself in his floppy hat, Mr. Ted.
It doesn't matter. The fact is that Mourinho is losing. That is not important. Mourinho is trading behind his old ally, old friend, and old enemy.
Yes.
Their friends are enemies the next day.
They're frenemies. They're frenemies.
Frenemies, we call them that. Of course, what is happening at Old Trafford, of all places, theater of dreams became theater of draws. Now it's going to be probably theater of loss.
Of nightmares at this
nightmares,
rate.
I guess so.
Yes,
the way it looks like.
If you can hear his voice, Mr. Ted is here in the building. It looks like his bike, the bike he was taking from Manchester, actually, like we said, it had a flat tire, and now the tire is good, and it looks like they dropped him well.
Actually, Buchi, I must say to you that it's a weakness of transporters in Abuja. The federal government has come out to say there's no fuel scarcity.
But
we are saying there is scarcity by creating artificial scarcity and extended long lines at the stations, and then some stations not selling even though they have the products. They have the products there, they just shut down. So 3 stations lined up in one place. 2 will sell, 1 will shut down. After a while, 1 will sell, 2 will shut down, and then they alternate, they regulate it on their own.
And selling at their own prices.
What's the DPR and the rest of the regulatory bodies doing? No, until people carry placards and start demonstrating. It doesn't have to lead to that level. No,
it has to get to that point. This, unless the government is really willing to step in and do its regulatory duties in monitoring these dealers and these marketers, we're just going to keep getting the same results until the people can actually stand up. I'm not going to say revolt, because it might sound like I'm actually calling for some kind of mass riot, but I'm saying the people actually standing up and saying, you know what, we know our rights. This is what we deserve, and our voices will be heard. Unless we can stand up and say no,
those are our rights. It's more disgusting to realize that, I mean, these are services that should be rendered to the public with ease, because a lot of the monies that we as citizens pay back into the government are supposed to regulate these things, or supposed to be funding these same things, same issues. We shout fuel, petrol, oil, whatever it is, whether it's groundnut oil, whatever, oil. That day, and I'm waiting with the CBDs. For goodness sake, we did there, no CVK. It's time we go back to bicycles, but the problem is that there are no roads for bicycles in Nigeria.
There are no
because you have high flying government convoys. Yes, I'll say that again. Government convoys, driving at speed of minimum of 140.
That's true.
Even when you're driving at 100, you'll be looking at all your mirrors.
In fact, you just reminded me of an incident I remember many years back when I was in Jos, and it was a bike man, an Okada man, who was on the road, and one of these traditional leaders and his convoy was zooming by, and the bike man refused to back down, and literally one of the orderlies actually stuck his head out of the window with a koboko, and was whipping this guy off the road, and the guy just managed to park his bike on the side. Now imagine if that was a bicycler, maybe like you said, the example you brought up with these high-flying government convoys. If you are riding your bike, which is a more healthy and practical way to get from A to B, we have the roads for it. We just create those bicycle lanes. But you'll see, these are the same people that cannot wait at a traffic light, that circumvent the road laws and expect
traffic lights don't even exist.
They do not exist to them.
I've been a witness to in fact, not even as supposed to, like, okay, for example, imagine let's just say the national handball team leaving the stadium, not our stadium, rather the national stadium, coming out of that stadium to go to the airport, and they drive out of there and they're headed to the stadium, and then they say joint somewhere, let's say somewhere in Lugbe, maybe there's somewhere where the traffic light stops vehicles from point A to Z, allowing vehicles from point D to E to cross, and the lights are not working, which most of a huge percentage of Abuja lights don't work. Traffic lights, they don't work.
That's true.
They'll pass you. They'll stop you for 120 seconds. They'll pass you for 29 seconds. Now the light stops you, and then the traffic man is there because the lights are not functioning. He knows, so he comes in, despite the fact that the lights are pointing. He still stays there. They do that in most of the places. Just across the corner here, outside house, they do that.
Yes.
He hears a siren. It's not an ambulance. It's not fire service. It's not an emergency. It's just a crop of persons. Let's say two batch of sirens are coming. One on the speed lane, one on the inside lane. They are crossing. And then he'll pass the one that is making the most noise with the pickups and with the tinted vehicles.
Yes.
He might not even pass the bus that is carrying athletes who are supposed to meet up with a flight to go and represent us somewhere in sports. No. He'll pass the one that is coming with the big noise, wee, and all that. He'll pass them. These guys don't respect lights. They have no respect for, as long as I'm concerned, they have no respect for other road users.
Yes, that's true.
You can't be driving, if I'm driving at 100 and you overtake me and then disappear, you're missing. That means you are driving at 140. And then inside that same convoy, you have the traffic regulatory agencies. You have the road safety inside that same convoy.
Yes.
You also have an ambulance driving at that speed inside that same convoy. You're beating lights, you're doing that because of one man or probably two. To where? Are you heading to hell? Will you miss your ticket to hell? Where are you going to? For goodness sake!
The ambulance has the Panadol that these let's say in quotes these top echelon people need to swallow. It's one of those things. Yes, but this is still Human Rights Radio 1B01.1 FM. Sorry for going off topic. Sometimes this is what we do here. When they think they touch us for Bella, when they touch us for Bella, we just have to react. Yes, you can hear you're hearing the voice of Buchi, and of course the super striker himself, the man in the floppy hat, Mr. Ted. Ted, we reported something very interesting that was going on in Germany in the Bundesliga. Apparently Cologne, which is at the bottom of the table in the Bundesliga right now.
That's Arsenal's very good friends in the Europa.
In fact,
they're the ones that came with fans 20 times more than how many tickets they were given to come to England.
Exactly. So Cologne, who are kind of, let me just say, they are the Crystal Palace counterparts of the Bundesliga right now. Yeah. They're winless, although of course Crystal Palace have won their matches. They've gone a few points, but this team is winless. They only have 3 points.
Just to remind you, one of their biggest victories was against Chelsea.
Yes,
just to let you know.
That's true. That's Crystal Palace.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, continue what you were saying.
It's a statement of fact. That's just the truth. Now, Cologne apparently have, of course, a week ago they sacked their coach. They have not won any matches and they sacked their coach. And apparently today something amazing happened. It seemed like they were going to capture their first victory, and they lost. They had a 3-goal lead. They were leading the match 3 goals in the first half, but then somehow in the second half things fell apart, as our uncle used to say, things fall apart when the center cannot hold.
According to Uncle Aminu, they couldn't take them.
They couldn't take them. Period. So they lost. They lost out 4-3 to a fellow bottom league strugglers. That's Freiburg. But then the interesting part, or the curious part of the story, is the same coach that's in the person of Peter Steiger, who was sacked a week ago, has now gotten employment immediately. I mean, this is incredible. He lost his job a week ago and has now gotten, in fact, what do we call it, better employment. And with lo and behold,
where at Arsenal. I just want to know, but you have this news, you have the details. I mean, Arsenal hired him. Let me know that Wenger has left. I mean, seriously.
Why are you praying for the fall of Wenger?
No, not the fall. Moving forward from normal things to. Is there any English? Okay, our chief executive media strategist can actually invent English, so I want to borrow his own. Moving from better things to better rest things.
To better rest things.
Yes.
No, actually, he got a job with fifth. I think they're about 5th or 7th on the league. That's the Bundesliga. That's Borussia Dortmund.
Oh,
who sacked their own coach for an 8-match, I think an 8-match draft.
And then hired a coach that has not won a single game.
Exactly.
To come take over such a team.
Now the question, I think what the thing that's curious about this thing is, what is the board of these big clubs? What are they thinking? What are they drinking? What are they smoking? That, I mean, basic. If we use basic logic, if I want to win a race, and maybe the race car that I'm using is not working, for that same race, I'm not going to go and bring a horse. I'm going to look for a better engine. I'm going to look for a better car, not to go back or regress and get a horse to win that race.
And that's why in Formula One we're thinking that in 2021 we're going to change the nature of our racing car engines and everything to make things better, even though some companies are protesting against it.
They're protesting against it.
But this is surprising, Buchi. Surprising based on the fact that a team like Borussia Dortmund have been a really big pain in the neck of especially Bayern Munich.
Yes.
In fact, there was a season, 2 seasons ago, they were almost, just a few games that they lost. They would have been the winners of the Bundesliga.
True.
Because they contested with Bayern Munich, them and Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Yes.
Came neck to neck, very close. They have been around. When you talk of Germany, the league there is massive. Okay, there has been a decline in the strength of the Bundesliga.
Yes.
I must state that.
In fact, generally, all around, I think football, all the clubs.
There is. That's why people are switching to cricket and Formula One.
Exactly.
But then the Bundesliga is more surprising that if you talk of Bundesliga, especially representing the league outside in Europe, the only team you think about is Bayern Munich. You don't think of a second team. Where Leibniz, who came in, they're making a lot of noise and playing amazing football, but of course they'll not be able to nip it deep in Europe, make the name heard as it should be, like Bayern Munich have been around. They are old horse running.
Yes.
But Dortmund, since they lost Klopp, let me not say they lost him. Whatever made him to leave.
Yes.
To Liverpool or to switch, crossover to another league entirely, not even staying back in the same league, crossover to another league entirely.
Yes.
There must have been something there which has been building that we don't know. Aubameyang has been asking of leaving the club.
Yes.
And so many teams are on his radar, like like trying to get him out of there. Okay, he has not agreed to that, but that's happening. And then you are losing in terms of your pedestal at the level in the league.
Yes.
Then you go to hire the coach that got, let me not say got fired, but underperformed.
Or was unceremoniously let go.
Let go, yeah, quietly, out of respect for him. From Cologne, Arsenal's very good friends, I must add that, to come and run that. Okay, there are 2 things here. One, the board at Cologne know that he can't help them because automatically it looks like they're going to relegation.
They are at this rate. At this rate, yes. 3 points in at December,
and then the coach leaving. You have a maximum of less than 25 games to go. We have about 39 games in a season. You have about just less than. Let me say less than. I mean, not even the 25. I'm looking at. Let's say 10 good games.
Let's say about 10. Let's say 10 to 12.
Let's say if you can win 10 good games. If you can win 10 good games, or let's say 5 good games, that guarantee you at least minimum of 15 points.
Yes.
You are safe from there. And you let go your coach. That means you know what is happening.
Of course.
Now that moving me to Borussia Dortmund, where do they think they are placing themselves this season or next season? Building forward or relying on the errors that are currently going on in the team. You have a key player that almost ended the life of Cristiano Ronaldo by neutralizing the whole Champions League game. And now you want to let the coach has gone, right?
Yes.
That means you want to let this guy go too. That's the only selling person next that they have.
That's the only name.
Coach Peter has left. In fact, he wasn't even a name. And one coach is in Germany. Unless the board of Borussia Dortmund have seen something big in him that they think they can help him to express at Dortmund.
And funny enough, Borussia Dortmund sacked their coach. That's Peter Bosz, who actually was the coach of Ajax for last season and actually led Ajax. If you remember, Ajax playing Manchester United in the Europa final.
Yes.
This is the coach that led that team to that Europa final. And you bring him on.
Now you look at the contrast. You're letting Peter Bosz go, bringing in a coach from a team that is technically regulated to come to your team.
Technically.
Now the question you raised earlier, Buchi, was the fact that what is the board thinking? That's not the only board. That's not there are so many other boards.
Yes.
One, what is the other board of Real Madrid thinking at the moment?
Yes.
I'm not even looking at players.
In fact,
I'm looking at the coaches.
Real Madrid is a one-man board at this point. You know, it's what
Florentino Perez. He decides what you have for breakfast.
Exactly, his word is law.
And what boxers you wear when you finish taking your bed, and what cream, whether it's black or white, what cream. He decides that, and he says it that what I want, anything I want to get, I will get it. And if I give you some money, a lot of money, you join the Real Madrid. Hala Madrid. Always say that constantly. What is the board of Arsenal thinking? If Arsenal acted like Borussia Dortmund is acting, but would Wenger have been there by now?
No. But you see, the thing is, Arsenal board. I've said this many times, and I will say it over and over again. Arsenal, this your coach. Arsene Wenger.
I know where you're going to. You are going to the business aspect of Arsene Wenger.
He's a businessman. He's a strategist. He's making money.
I know that.
The board is happy. The board is, as long as the money is in our pockets, we don't care. If you like, win or don't win. Just keep us in that point where we can sell and make some money. That's what they are, right?
D1 will not be very happy with you because D1 is very angry at the results today. Was it Mr. Dennis that called on the program?
Yes.
That said,
I've already challenged him.
Yes, Mr. Dennis, call back and let's talk, because Mr. Dennis said it was going to be a walkover at Southampton. No matter what they had, it would be easy for us.
The same thing Chelsea said.
No, the same thing. But now, truly looking at the boss rather than the team,
yes.
What are some boss thinking?
What are they thinking?
Okay, so this is a business you actually invested in. You invest in Arsenal. It got to a point that Arsenal started thinking of considering some of their shares to some other stakeholders. The Russian, the present owner. It got to a point we even heard rumors like a big business tycoon here in Nigeria.
Yes,
Aliko was going to buy shares there.
Was interested
rather than invest in Kano Pillars. The same way Sugida, he didn't go there. He's thinking of Arsenal. Maybe that's not true. Maybe that's true. But then the board is there, and there's this man here who has not won a trophy for you. I know how much each trophy worth.
Of course,
it's a lot of money.
It is
to win. But Arsenal has relied on that level of qualifying for Champions League and playing to the probably qualifying the round of 16, getting knocked out. Apart from that horrible final with Barcelona,
yes,
Arsenal has never gone anything far in the Champions League.
No, they haven't.
I'm saying that because I'm not taking on Arsenal. I'm comparing that to what Borussia Dortmund is doing.
Yes.
Maybe something inside that the board thinks it's time to reshape the entire team. Let the coach go, and probably in January we might just hear that Aubameyang has left to another club. At Real Madrid, it could be Chelsea.
At this rate,
Manchester United.
He has the offers are pouring in left, right, and center for this man. And I mean, it's just like the same thing that happened with Lukaku last season with Everton.
Exactly.
You can only remain a big fish in a small pond for so long before you drown. And if you don't want to drown, you need to move up. If your team isn't moving,
he has established his name already in the Champions League as one big player to contend with, one big striker, and he switches positions. He plays directly forward or wings.
He's quick on the ball.
He's quick on the ball, good dribbles. He has a very good mindset of the position of the keeper and the post.
Yes.
He scored very, very amazing goals in the Champions League. The last being the game against Real Madrid last week.
Yes.
And all that. So it might just be him leaving. The coach has left, him leaving. You think of a couple of other players that they have some very good talented players, but if you don't have a corporate team of at least 5 solid good players in the team, the rest who are struggling to come up might not be able to deliver.
That's
and
true.
it will affect you. So I think the board at this moment is considering the fact that we could let this coach go, bring in another coach to restart.
Yes.
Despite the fact that the new coach we are bringing in is not delivering well at Cologne. Let him come here. We have seen 1 or 2 things in him that can make him a better coach here.
That's true.
And then by January, we'll let go the team and bring in probably a fresh team by the summer. We'll sell 2 or 3 or 4 players and then bring in a bunch of new players in the summer and restart the league.
Because according to the general manager, the owner of Borussia Dortmund, he actually said that they had a nice chat with Peter Bosz, the former coach, and they let him go. It's mutually agreed, and immediately Peter Stöger, who is the coach.
Let's talk to Peter. But you change your name to Peter. Peter.
They're both Peters. Peters.
Peter Bucci Stadium. And you're not sure where they will hire you.
No, Peter Stöger. Peter Stöger is the coach of Cologne, who has just been brought in. And now the person who was let go was Peter Bosz. Now, according to the owner, he's saying that one thing that yes, it's a temporary thing. But immediately he's taking over. That they want him to at least get them a few points. They want Peter Stöger to get them a few points before Christmas, which for me is ridiculous, since the man could only secure 3 points for Cologne in the whole of the Bundesliga. But they want
Christmas is just a couple of days away.
It's just a couple of days away. They say they want
less than 5 games.
They want him to get a few points in for them, and then they'll look at restructuring the club. And then nothing is certain and permanent. They're looking at a long term. They're looking even up to the 30th of June next year. So I think that's the general idea. Like you said, that's the general idea that this club has. They probably see something in this person, or maybe they're actually even just looking for the fact that, you know what, this man is sacked. To hire anybody right now, we're going to need so money, and blah. We don't have the money. You need a job. You work for peanuts. Oh yeah, come on. Peter Stoiberg probably obviously has something to prove, and I think they're just looking to capitalize on that.
But this is also about taking advantage of an opportunity that has presented itself.
Yes.
One, it might not just be all about the money for Peter coming into Borussia Dortmund. It could be about the fact that this is a chance for you. You have been working with a low-rated team.
Why don't you come up to the big leagues?
Yes, come to the big league, go to Europe, take your players out there and play in Europe and sell your name. Maybe it's just a stepping stone for him. It's another step on the ladder for him to move away from where he has been and show your coaching abilities like our brother, the Pep Guardiola of Africa, is doing presently, trying to sell himself and show himself that this is what I can do. But someday we might just have him coming back to take over.
Yeah, he's actually, he's doing a fantastic job right now. They're second in the league, in the second league division of the Dutch league. This is a team that were practically at the bottom. He actually single-handedly,
took them up, including his finances and everything.
I think we have a caller calling in. Hello, good evening. Looks like we lost that call.
Yeah, that should be from Borussia Dortmund.
Or maybe that's a Manchester United fan, because it's about 90 minutes in and Man U has still not scored. It looks like the game is rounding up.
I don't know what's happening at Old Trafford. I knew from the beginning. How dare any Manchester United supporter or call them fan or supporter, whatever, that yes, I knew that from the beginning. It was going to be tough. Not the harvest of goals as we expect.
Exactly.
But City wouldn't lay down that guard, and this, according to D1, he's handing the trophy over to Manchester City in March. But this is just an indication that if Man U couldn't beat them today, of course they have. We must admit that there's a little issue at Manchester United when it comes to the striking force.
That's true.
Amazing midfield, empty defense, strike force, confusion on who should be there, who should not be there. Is there. We might deny it, but the fact is that it is there.
That's true.
And for them to be dragging this game down, City have just wasted a whole lot of chances to have gone up in this game, almost three goals up now, 4 goals up now, wasting a whole lot. Man U playing laid back, a little bit laid back.
They're playing a little
and City
laid
with
back,
a whole lot of forward-going team. It should be like would have converted a whole lot of chances.
That's true.
And they have players that can simulate. Don't forget that Kun Aguero knows how to simulate when he's in your box.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the man is a fantastic actor. Don't get me wrong. I think some of his performances deserve an Oscar.
On the stadium, we'll not give Oscar. We'll give you a wooden trophy.
We'll give you
for what you're doing. But to what you are saying, you raised a very curious point. Like I'm looking at boss of clubs, right? Manchester United,
yes,
have crossed that in the past few seasons.
Yes,
have had 4 coaches.
4 coaches, that's true.
When Fergie left,
left a vacuum.
Fergie left a vacuum. He brought in David Moyes, who couldn't deliver. They brought in Louis van Gaal, who couldn't deliver.
Well,
to the level that Giggs was a standing coach.
Exactly.
And now Jose has come in with his team. Yes, not very far from where they should be, but not as good as
they were, but not as bad as.
But not the Manchester United.
Not the Manchester we knew before. There's no way I don't know if they can actually recapture that form again. I mean, Fergie is sort of like he was a talisman.
He was a god at Old Trafford. Him and Bobby Charlton working together. Him and Bobby there, the only surviving legend of the horrible Munich plane crash.
Yes,
he's there in the board and everything. Yes. I told a few of my friends that Bobby has a very big hand when it comes to Man U transfer. People don't know how deep that is. He makes his recommendation. It's the respected voice in that. In fact, there was a point he was in like almost 5 FA balls. He was involved in 5 FA balls, that both for referee appointments, and he's deep in that. He's a respected football legend and all that. And for under his watch, other than coaches, under his watch, for Man U to have had 4 coaches in less than 10 seasons, actually, explains to you that Man U want to go back to where they were, and
they're trying to find that form again, and they're trying to find that player or that coach that can actually bring out that magic,
reestablish the Old Trafford as it used to be. Under Roman Abramovich, since he came to Chelsea, you can't remember the number of coaches.
No. Massive. I mean, they change coaches like they're changing underwear.
Yes.
If
straight off,
if he doesn't like what you're doing, you walk away. Just like
even with the victory, you win. Di Matteo, what happened? He won the Champions League. Where is he? Avram Grant. These are coaches that are coaching big clubs now.
Avram Grant
took the Chelsea to the finals in Russia.
Yes, true. Avant-Garde guided this team towards their first Champions League win, and right after the one gone.
Fiorentino Perez, the same thing. The same thing. That's like that's a one-man board.
Yeah.
Let's say there's a board.
Essentially, yes.
But there's a man responsible for the board's decisions. So he uses his brain alone to make the board think. So you have like 10 men on the board using one man's brain to think.
One man's brain and voice.
Does that. Barcelona, when as at the time that Pep left,
yes,
the board almost had crisis. When Tito came in and successive changes,
yes,
you could notice that, you could realize that, okay, there were issues on the ground. The board realized that. They have not had a permanent, Barcelona, as far as I'm concerned, have not had a coach that could bring Barcelona back to what? Forget that they're on top of the table.
No, of course,
well.
of course.
But the structure at Barca has changed.
It has.
Totally changed. Watch out, PSG. Whichever can hold the egos that PSG has recruited, has hired into the team. You might just see a change there at that place. Your big teams, AC Milan, who did they bring in eventually? Gattuso.
They did.
Brought in Gattuso, a former player who might understand that he's losing games already. First 2 games, horrible results.
Horrible results.
What happens next? Manchester City. How many coaches? Since the Etihad team took over, how many coaches?
That's true.
This is about the 4th coach.
Yes.
Handling since the big money spending got in there. So boss are very curious about that. But if you compare that back to our league here in Nigeria,
yes.
Who owns it? Who is the board? What's the board?
The board.
I can talk and point at one team in Nigeria with no sentiments that had an established board under one-man chairmanship, Felix Anyasi with Enyimba, when Nigeria recorded the back-to-back win at the Champions League.
Yes.
Other than that, you have so many other teams that are owned by the state government, and the boss change as long as the commissioner of sports is changed. Under which administration?
It looks like the Man City Manchester United match has come to a final conclusion, and of course, Man City have taken the day.
Yes.
Yes, Manchester United fans, where una day?
Waiting to expect for waiting. Waiting to expect before
in now. the same confidence you walked into this match is the same confidence I want you.
I wish our head of visuals was here today, Chike. if Man U want today, tomorrow Chike will wear Man U jersey.
He's probably burying his jersey right now. Yeah, taking it off and he's burying it. Are you a proud Man U fan? Call in now. The number is still 081-8999-1011. Call in now and challenge us here. We on the stadium. We are challenging you. We're putting our fingers to you and we're saying what happened. Give us an explanation, because we know Jose Mourinho is going to give us one of those colorful, very, very colorful.
Yeah, responses. You know, the hello, ladies and gentlemen of the press, the absence of Pogba after the game against Arsenal, which I think was a mistake of the referee, has made us lose the game against Manchester City. But that's more for you.
No. We play good game. We deliver. We saw goals. We did chances.
But of course, we miss Pogba.
We miss Pogba.
I see. What would you have done?
What would you have done differently if you were Jose Mourinho? What would you have done? Who would you have played? Who would you have put on the field to give you that result? What is your thoughts? And if you're an Arsenal fan, call in, because we have expressed the same frustration that Arsene Wenger is expressing. He has said he was frustrated and expressed his frustration, especially with the match. And if I don't know what kind of frustration he should be expressing, because it was super sub Giroud that saved the day. Southampton has scored that goal 3 minutes in, and it was on the 88th that Giroud could actually respond. What is your thoughts? Did Arsene Wenger do the right thing?
That would actually have been a worse result than Chelsea. Chelsea considered the 6th minute and couldn't respond. There was no super sub on the bench.
There was none.
So the big teams are taking in early goals and nobody to rescue. Which is this a sign of fatigue?
It is.
At least got into this point in the league that there's fatigue. Players are getting tired.
Of course, it is. We've said this many times. I mean, these are teams that are playing in Europa, they're playing Carabao Cup, they're playing UEFA, they're playing a lot of competitions, and you know, these are other teams, the smaller teams that they're going up against only have one goal. A lot of pundits and a lot of critics have put that to Chelsea, and the only reason why they feel Chelsea last season took the season was because they were not committed in other European clubs. They had the time, they could rest up, they could come in and come guns blazing. But now with other leagues and other commitments, you can see that the teams are being stretched.
I don't think that's a very big excuse. The fact being that we do know, we have said it here on the stadium,
yes,
that a big team will always assemble big players
and keep squad, them exactly.
And be able to manage the squad as it should be,
and rotate your squad
players and choose which game to use your big players or rest them. It's not like Neymar deciding to choose which game he plays. No, it is about the fact that the club, the team itself, chooses which players to use for which competition at every point in time. Minding the fact that so you have a Giroud that is a super sub. You have started him in some games, he delivered for you, and then you have other players that you could use in his place. You want to rest a Lacazette.
That's true.
For instance, in games like this, introduce some of the players that are hungry, that are biting, they wish to go forward.
You have a junior team. You have a junior team and under 20 and under 17 and under 20 team. You have Arsene Wenger is, of course, he's the champion of actually raising these young players, these youngsters.
The problem which is the fact that he raises them to sell. He doesn't raise them for continuity. Yes, he does that. So he raises the players.
You say it like he's selling cattle, like
that's the ease. See, that's the ease which he does business, which takes us back to thinking about what the board is thinking.
Yes,
is the board comfortable that this man is doing this and getting away with it? But that's not the talking point. You spoke about that. We're talking about the fact that a big team that is getting fatigued at this point in the season should know that there are players. We have players on the bench. We have players that are participating in the reserve league, which is active. That's where Ahmed Musa is playing now for Leicester City. Don't forget, he's not playing. He's playing.
He's playing.
He's playing in the reserve league. He's not
actively. He's
actively, but it's not yet done enough for the coach to feature him in a big team.
True.
So for example, what should Conte have done? Should he have rested the players after a horrible result with Atletico Madrid, the Champions League? The players had a morale.
Yes.
Should he have rested them? Should Wenger have actually rested players that just came back from Europe after beating Bedborisov 6-0? Yes, they came back with that mindset, happy that won away 6-0. Won against Bedborisov 6-0, massive goal difference.
That's true.
And qualified into the next group stages with
round.
ease.
Yes.
And then should he have brought in other players that would say, okay, let me compete as a player. What do I tell myself? Let me compete for a space, a position in the big team. I didn't do that.
I think I'm going to agree with you on this, especially when you use your big guns to get the job done, and then you have your other team, especially with these, let me say in quotes, because to be honest, you can't call them small teams, you can't call them small matches. These are teams that are here, especially like Southampton, Liverpool, West Ham. They have something to prove
because they don't want to go back down. They don't want to go down.
They don't want to go down.
They'll fight you with everything they have. They're not participating in any other league. These are one and only chance, and a draw for these guys today seems like a big win. If they go on to lose the next 3 games, they'll be happy. They'll keep making reference to the fact that we drew against Arsenal.
In fact, 2 seasons from now, they'll say, you know what, 2 seasons ago we held you right here. And you'll see the commentators, and these commentators, they have the facts and figures. They will tell you, yes, it was me. I scored in the 3rd minute. It was me. Look at me.
If Southampton is going to play Chelsea, in the next, let's say maybe they have a match with Chelsea in the next 3-4 fixtures. Not directly, but the commentator would, like you said, will say, okay, high flying Southampton played at Arsenal. Don't forget, they had a very wonderful 1-1 draw at Arsenal. Arsenal couldn't go past them, and are going to face Chelsea. What will Conte do? Who will be the players that will actually deliver the stuff?
Exactly.
They will come in with that hype.
They'll come in with that hype. They'll be like, yes, West Ham, David Moyes actually getting his first win against Conte.
Yes,
the high flying,
very big.
It was such a confidence boost, and then you hear, oh yes, that's right, David. That's right. David Moyes actually getting his vote. What Conte with his back against the wall? What's he going to do for the next match?
Conte will come out and tell you that I have a feature. Say okay, buongiorno. Come sta. I have a very big offer to go back to Italy to coach the national team, but I have decided to stay. Maybe I will bring a Gattuso to take over in Chelsea while I go over to Italy. Maybe wondering what's happening. Mebuchi, Man U losing at home to Man City. It's not the first time.
It's not the first time.
It's happened before.
At this
point,
Fergie
called them his noisy neighbors.
Yes.
They are proving that the noise is right.
They are. I mean, I think this is the season of Manchester City right now, the way they're playing, with the goals that they're scoring. Although, it seems like the form is dropping. They're not, although they haven't dropped points yet, but it's not that goal deficit of 7-2 or 5-0 that they're going in with. But still, like Mourinho would say, a win is a win.
It's a win.
Right now, they are winning.
Yes.
2-1. Manchester United, unfortunately, now that gap has extended to 11 points clear. 11 points clear. It was 8 points clear. They were looking at cutting it into 5. Now it's gone 11 points clear. So I don't know at this point in time. I don't know unless some sort of act of God is going to happen, and then the top 5 right there, maybe Sane, maybe Sterling, Aguero, like maybe Polio will just hold all of them right now.
But Pogba had come out earlier when Pogba got the red card before this game.
Yes.
He came out to say he wishes that Manchester City players get injured like Man United has been. Yes, he said it outrightly.
He did. He did.
So that they will understand what they have been going through at Manchester United, coping with injuries and all that. But it's not all about injuries. Sometimes when you're injured, you think in the absence of Pogba and Zlatan,
of course,
and Rose, Rashford stepped up.
He stepped up.
Anthony Martial improved this game. Ashley Young was the scorer of all best goals that day. Even when these guys came back, Ashley Young was scoring.
Lukaku
was there playing 90 minutes in every game.
All the games he was holding the field. So I know a lot of people come out. I think Mr. Austin, he's one of the things he likes to say is that Lukaku is a big scam. But you have to give the man credit.
Yes.
When everybody else from midfield to strikers were all down, Lukaku was the lone man in front, holding it,
and he kept himself
winning games.
Funny enough, he has not been injured. He has not had a major injury like most strikers have been having. He's been fit.
He's been fit.
He's suffering from what do I call it now? Which English word? I wish Father the grammarian was here to borrow me a word in English to use. Suffering from the absence of being featured consistently in some games. Of course, of recent he has been coming off from the bench or resting.
Yes.
Not starting most games, or not getting the best. Even when he starts, not getting the best supply from the midfield, which led us to talk about the fact that Manchester United might need some kind of rejig in the midfield.
I mean,
even with Pogba,
with Mata, with
Mata's mind is out of there. Matic came in. Matic is a scam. He betrayed Chelsea and left. And so forget him. So he betrayed your team. So there's need to get one or two players there. And I think Jose knows his vibe for buying Bell. In January, which Madrid wants to let go. Zidane has come out clear to let it be known that he doesn't really want to keep Bale. He doesn't have Bale there. He's not part of his plan. Other than the injuries that Bale is having, it's not that he's an injury. There's something that's beyond that which we don't know. Mourinho wants to get him to improve the wings.
Well, do you think? I mean, don't get me wrong. Bale is a phenomenal player. I mean, he was
when he was at Everton.
No,
yes,
when he was at Tottenham, he was a phenomenal player.
He went to Real Madrid.
Do you think
became a deputy governor? Yes, he was never. He never got to the point.
Why do you think the
man left Barcelona? Didn't he have enough playing space? Which player will have that role at Barcelona and stay and leave, not stay?
That's true.
Suarez just there pretending to be happy and play.
No, I mean,
he left Liverpool and went to Barcelona.
To be honest, I think Suarez is just happy. You know what? I'm just happy to have a shirt and play because at least I think other teams. It was getting to the point where I think the English teams were going to put a muzzle on him and let him play before they.
No, he overcommitted himself to some errors that he needed to go to a shining league. He would have probably qualifies to play. He would have gone to play with Chiellini at the Italian Serie A to remind him that he beat him and whatever, and they continue punch each other, and it's only a yellow card warning from the referee. But I was saying, also wants to get Bale, and also is taking off midfielders to bring them in, to have midfielders there to work that team. That team is not. It's not. Forget that they have qualified. They're in the league.
They're playing, but
seriously,
really, they are missing something. There's
no gelling.
It's
missing, which is what Tottenham have been enjoying for a long time until now. There's a disconnect between the midfield and attack. Eriksen has dropped his form, and that you will not realize that he was the engine room of that team.
No, Eriksen was, no matter what.
Other than Dele and your friends. So
Dele has dropped form. Son seems to be picking up because he scored 2 goals yesterday. Yes. Kane is still the selfish player. I mean, a lot of people say it, and I think don't get me wrong. I'm a big supporter of Harry Kane. I love what he's doing. He delivers. The point is that the man, when he's in front of the net, he delivers. But there's a lot of complaint about him being a selfish player. He wants the ball always to himself, and he wants to put it into the net. And the truth is, Eriksen has been, like you said, the engine room of that team. And since he has dropped form, the team too have also.
And that is what my is like who is the engine room man, let's say operator, let's call it local term. Use operator. No, exactly. let's use local expression, operator who be the operator for Man U now.
I mean, now they don't have one.
I could tell you confidently that since Giggs left, I don't think there's been any operator there like operator will call out Man U.
Hello, good evening.
Hello,
good evening, welcome to the stadium. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
My name is Samuel.
Samuel.
Yes, sir.
Where's Samuel calling from?
from Tasha.
All right. My brother, how are you doing? Did you enjoy these weekend matches? Which match did you enjoy the most today? Can you hear me, Samuel?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes, I'm asking you, what do you think about the match today? Man City beating Manchester United 2-1. What are your thoughts?
It is very nice.
This must be a man. This must be a Man City fan.
That is very nice game for today.
What other matches did you get? Did you watch the Arsenal match today?
Liverpool and
Everton, yes.
this Liverpool defender that caused the penalty.
Yes.
He made a mistake.
Yes, he did.
By pushing the last man.
In fact, he just touched the guy, and the man just, in fact, performed the rest. He was an Oscar-winning performance.
Yes.
You know, anything you do in the front of ref will see and blow.
Exactly.
That is why. And he did it personally in the front of ref.
Yes. So
that is it also.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuel.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Enjoy your evening.
Okay, sir.
All right.
With regard to Adibota.
All right.
Adibota.
Adibota for skin.
Paco for mouth. She didn't hear you. She did that to hear you.
Okay.
She didn't hear you.
Yes.
She did that to hear you.
Thank you, sir.
She did.
Don't worry, you go hear her today. She go there next. She go hear her.
No worries. She come next, eh? All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
Hey, she don't get plenty toasters.
Ajebo for skin.
Paco for baki.
Mouth.
Plenty toasters. So maybe next time we'll carry her into sports. Maybe she can't talk. Maybe she can't do Paco sports or Ajay sports. The day we are doing Dambe, she should come because.
Posh lady, if you can hear me, this is an open invitation to you to join us here on the stadium. In fact, if you can come in now, because someone wants to greet you. And
yes,
in fact,
special greetings.
Come and greet Samuel. Yes, this is still the stadium on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and we have a very special guest. Yes, a very poshest of the poshest ones. And if you can go online right now, go to our social media pages, go to Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook on Human Rights Radio 101.1, you will see this special guest. Samuel, in fact, we have kidnapped her for you. Miss Posh Lady.
My country people are true salutes are pack of the many salutes. Mona no worry, gist today later. This weekend they bear. No be small thing. See, I don't tell una the day I go talk for this stadium, eh. This is una sports thing.
In fact,
Posh, wait. No rush, man. Look, I ask you. Now you talk. So the other day when they give award to Ronaldo and Messi, you tell me say you know like short men that you prefer Ronaldo. You talk. I hear you when we're there outside. You talk.
I know I like Cristiano Ronaldo. I like him.
Cristiana.
Yeah, Nadine be that now. No be we do secondary school together. We do secondary school. It's just that Azin just travel. He called they tell himself say name na Cristiano. Boy name the real name na Cristiana. You feel with na Christy would they call her that time. Now yes say you want born 7 children. No me.
So wait, you want like yes say you want born 7 children.
Your audition.
I want understand. You want audition of it. You don't get 4. You get picking before we don't near 10 years now. We don't pass 7. You can't get twins. Then after 5 months,
children,
after 5 months, you don't born another one, another woman. So you want the remaining 3. You want participate.
He need like 3 other children on top. May pay me, ma just give him 3 plates. No wahala.
Sorry, let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Solomon calling.
Solomon, welcome to the stadium.
Thank you, sir.
Where are you calling me from, my brother?
I'm calling from Finance
Junction. Solomon, I think Solomon, in fact,
I told you yesterday, Man U will win 2-1 in the Civil of Man U, but the thing has really turned against us.
Solomon, in fact, let me congratulate you for honoring your commitment because Ted is here. They wait for you. We don't. They wait for you.
Solo. I been the wonder say I want to ask you today how far. Now you talk say
already turned against us. The only thing the pattern.
Solo.
If you say person with the money, the network come from the other team.
The thing go call back now. So you know, say network, you need to appease them first before you enter this place. You know, say said at the 12 now. No, you and network now discuss. Tell and say you and your fancies when I get to relate. So make it just crawl for corner after everything, and here when I just see behind the camera.
Yeah, Chineke. I know follow you go behind. I don't follow you. I go here, I go there in front of the camera. Here, I go talk.
This is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and the stadium, I will say it now, is not filled to capacity, but it is full because we have a grand master of a guest here, the poshest of the poshest of the poshest ladies. Ajebo for skin,
Bako for Baki.
Ted, mind yourself. In fact,
Posh. Waiting, now that I don't collect them. See, I don't dab for you.
Yes, this is the stadium. We're going to take a mini break, a very short break. When we come back, the lines are still open to you. What are your thoughts? In fact, and then we'll give you a rundown of all the action that's been happening all around the world, from La Liga to the Bundesliga and of course the EPL. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And if you can hear the sound of my voice, you are back onto the stadium. My name is Bucci, and of course, I don't walk alone. I've been here with the super striker himself, Ted.
Yeah,
Ted?
only people work for them actually, but it's not every time. A couple of times you have Austin Pablo.
Yes.
Working alone when Liverpool play games like it's not that bad. So Austin, you decided to run away from the stadium today. You should come here and defend your club because you have registered your name here on the stadium as a grand member and master of Liverpool. Of course,
yes.
That was an amazing result for you, no matter how it was.
Salah with a prolific goal, although yes. Rooney registering and putting his name on the sheet.
We're talking of two classic players, two disgruntled players actually. One disgruntled left England to go to Italy, that's from Chelsea to Roma, and decided to come back to England to Liverpool.
And prove his
Rooney left Everton to go to Man U,
and
things got bad and they went back to Everton. So you're talking of players that have some triangular movement, not triangle, some is just back and forth.
It's just the life of a player. It's just the life of a player.
Sure.
Yes.
But not very bad result, I would say. Not very bad result.
No,
the table remains not so much shaking apart from Man City stretching that gap again on top. It's not very shaking as it was. But my worry is at the bottom, of course. West Ham with a very massive 3 points. Almost jumping, not yet jumped anywhere. Almost, at least for them, that's like a victory. If they can save themselves and get out of there, that's fine. Sam Allardyce, even without his presence on the touchline, and tried to like inspire Everton from behind. The players have been delivering as if they were playing for the coach, not the coaches that were there before that. Exactly. And right now we see that they're trying to deliver.
You can actually feel that influence, Sam's influence on the team.
The name alone is like you get into a school and the name of the school, the signpost alone, is established in 1755.
Yes.
Enter that, you just carry your shoulders high because this school is an old school. You have a tabula rasa, a blank mind, and yet to get in there, you become intelligent because this is an old school that is known for its values. You just deliver. Everton used to be that kind of team. They're trying to come back to where they were abandoned after Moyes left them. To be honest with you, when Moyes left Everton,
since
then it has never been the same Everton.
It just hasn't been the same again.
I was thinking, like you recommended on this platform, that you think it is better for Moyes to go back to Everton because at that point it was empty.
Yeah, just like Bayern Munich going back to take their old coach who inspired to
and AC Milan looking out for Gattuso.
Going back, exactly. Sometimes
Real Madrid getting them back.
Sometimes you need that old familiar face to
understand the philosophy of the club.
Exactly, to bring back and inspire those, instill those values that were there. Yes, we've had. We'll take one last call before we wrap up here. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
My brother, good evening. Where are you calling from and what is your name?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, good evening. Welcome to the stadium.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Peter John.
Peter John.
Hello.
Yes, Peter, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
My name is Peter John. I'm calling from Guagua.
All right. How's Guagua this evening, my brother?
Fine, sir.
All right. What games did you watch today, and what's your comment for this evening? What was your comment for the? What is your comment for the game played today?
I'm not hearing you, sir.
Peter, if you can't hear me, I can hear you very clearly.
Hello.
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 Yes. Apparently, Peter should be a Man U fan who is having problems with the result, and network has decided to see more.
Yes, like we reported today, we had three main matches today. Manchester City against Manchester United, where City were lost, were humbled by Man City, the high-flying Man City, 2-1. We also had Arsenal playing earlier today against Southampton, 1-1 draw, and also Liverpool going up against Everton with a 1-1 draw. In the La Liga, we had Deportivo going up against Leganes with Deportivo going up 1-0, Valencia beating Celta Vigo 2-1, Real Sociedad losing to Malaga 2-0, Real Betis losing to Atletico Madrid 1-0, and Atletico Bilbao beating Levante 1-0. Of course, we have Barcelona going up against Villarreal later on this evening, and also in the Bundesliga, like we reported, where the matches started today. Leipzig and Mainz having a 2-2 draw. Bayern Munich beating and Eintracht. I don't. Eintracht. Like I said, I'm not German. Don't forgive me. Beating them 1-0. We have Schalke drawing their match today against Montelagabach. We had SC Freiburg who beat Cologne. That's FC Cologne. 4-3, an amazing match.
And they could see their coach.
Bottom of the bottom teams. And also Hanover beating Hoffenheim 2-0. Of course, right now we have the Hertha match going on against Augsburg. It's live. They're about 54 minutes in. It's still 0-0. Yes, this has been the Stadium on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I want to thank the floppy hat one himself, the prolific one, the main man himself, Mr. Ted. Thank you for making it. I know it's a long trip from Manchester down, but you made it on time, and thank you so much.
I had to wait to see the end of the match to see the final score so that I come and give you the reports.
The reports.
So that in the other room there will be no conflict. But if you are out there holding fuel, if you are keeping our fuel in your dumps and in your tanks,
release our fuel. Tomorrow is Monday.
Christmas is not here. What do they hate us? Every religious holiday, Christmas, Ramadan, they will hold fuel. Salah, they will hold fuel. For what? For goodness sake, release the fuel. Let's have free movement. And taxi drivers will be cool. Because it's don't sell on that, don't raise them, they're going to increase and go up.
No put us for high jump here. I want to thank our producer for today, the lovely Miss Queen Jane. I want to thank Mr. Itel out there too. I also want to thank Blessed in the IT department streaming us live, and also Desmond in the visual department for making us look this good. You can check us out if you want to follow up on this program. Subscribe to our social media pages on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all in all. Come and join us here. They always look out for Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. My name is Buchi. I also want to give a big salute to the Poshest of the Poshest Lady for being a special guest star on this program. Thank you so much. We'll be back again tomorrow from 6:15 and we'll pick up from where we start. Don't go anywhere. Keep your dial locked to the station and enjoy our rich content that is coming your way. Thank you and good night.